Welcome to the big announcement coming soon podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Michael Bull, and joined today, as usual, by Jeff Renson and our on again, off again, Nick Garvin. Welcome back, Nick.
One
Hey, where were
time.
you last week? Because we had
One
this
time,
other guy,
easy.
David Collette, on, and he I think the podcast ran like 7 hours. You wind him up, and he won't stop talking. You're a little more, succinct. I'm saying that mostly because David's probably listening and getting upset right now. But anyways,
He's in the
back.
waiting room.
Yeah, he is. We'll have to keep him there.
Thank you.
It's good to see you guys.
Thanks. Good to see you guys. So I was down south with the family on a little trip. 3 hours south of Bangkok. Still on the mainland, Thailand.
Oh, where are we at?
Hua Hin, like 45 minutes south of Hua Hin. Nice little area.
Oh, even further down south. Okay. Now, is it Hua Hin or Hua Hin? I never could get the pronunciation right.
Somewhere in between. Yeah.
That's right. Let's get our Thai tones correct.
Yeah.
So something like that.
Great to be back, though, guys. Excited to be here.
Well, nice to
have you back, man.
Nice to have you back. Jeff, who's got a little snow because we talk about boring weather, falling in the background, is going to update us on the latest news. Take it away, Jeff.
Okay, so news this week, it felt like a flat week until yesterday. But really looking through news of the week, I had nothing in my notes. Yesterday we had a little price action, but that's not really the point of this show. And really what we came down to was I kind of found the shovel sellers are out talking this week. There's some Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX versus BitBoy crypto drama. Sam dropped a thread on DeFi regulation, and he's someone who has made a lot of money over the last couple of years through FTX and Alameda in DeFi, and now is talking about the need to regulate parts of it. A lot of people came out saying, you came here and extracted value, now you want the regulators to protect you. And he kind of walked a few statements back, kind of clarified a few. BitBoy went off. There's a great video.
I'm the one who does. It's me. I'm the one out here putting the work in behind the scenes, trying to save crypto while these devils.
BitBoy went off. There's a great video. But again, right, Sam's here to run an exchange, and BitBoy's here to run his crypto channel. So those two yelling at each other over DeFi regulations, I found kind of just noise, but that was the biggest thing on Twitter this week on the news. Moving on from that, Binance is listing the borrowing of USTC, which is the old Luna Classics Terra dollar coin that's still around 6 cents. It's nowhere close to its peg, but they're allowing borrowing on it. So again, people like CZ and Binance, and they've done some nice things for the community, but that's ridiculous, right? They're still the shovel sellers, like keeping everybody in perspective.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That, and then the last thing, going back to Sam and Alameda, there's a great thread linked below, looking at some of the early Solana projects and what FTX did to support them, and then Alameda as a token holder, as a VC, did as a hedge fund. Still, their goal is to dump tokens and make money. And it's just that reminder again is, I don't think they did anything that wasn't exactly what they were supposed to do. And the thread kind of talks about the tokenomics and ethics of it. And everyone's here to do exactly what they're supposed to do. Alameda is a hedge fund. FTX is an exchange. Binance is an exchange. Kind of remember why everybody is here. That's the news for the week.
All right. So the comment culturally speaking, it says the boomer of the group. So you got a guy named BitBoy Crypto arguing with somebody else. So to me, that just defines how the culture has changed, because it used to always be like Anthony Jones, the tall, angry white person, is arguing with somebody else who's also a tall, angry
still
white
tall,
person.
Angry, and white.
Oh, okay. But these names they go by, which in the boomer days, it would be like, this is just some ridiculous kid, but that these people now hold weight in a different space than they would have in the past.
And I'd say, Nick, you can give me your view on him, but ridiculous kid is a very good description of him. However, you're right. Tons of people listen, tune in, and the thing is, take financial advice, because he really talks about where the markets are going, and I think people buy into that.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, classic influencer who is kind of a slime ball, right? And just he's just a guy that in there long time, and I don't know. I think take it with a grain of salt. He's always yelling at somebody, and like you said, Jeff, before, like he's doing this thing. He has a YouTube channel. We're talking about him now. For better or worse, it just keeps the space going. I think for me, it shows that the culture of the space is still immature if we're like trying to cannibalize each other during a bear market. It shows that like we're all probably like not taking enough off the table, therefore we're looking to pick the bones of whoever. And I think attacking Sam about some DeFi stuff is a bit silly, right? For especially again, you're a YouTuber, stay in your lane, that's all.
Yeah, Nick, it's interesting you mentioned maturity of the market. Like, so we got to get past these guys, I think, in order to gain wider adoption.
Yeah,
among some of the moneyed class. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you're saying, like you're hearing it from the outside, and it's like some BitBoy person sounds like a superhero is like feuding with another person. And it just sounds like, oh yeah, that silly internet money stuff.
Right.
And it needs to evolve. And Sam
it does.
Probably should.
That's
probably
also
not
the biggest thing that happened this week, though. And I'll tie in later to kind of where we are in this bear market. I know we pumped yesterday, but that really, and if you guys can remember anything else from the week of interest or note, please, I'm looking for anything else for news.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we did pump yesterday, but again, it just seems to correlate with the regular stock market in the U.S.
And it was expecting, right? Like I saw that little descending triangle. And it was for me, it felt like the news was that people got frothy. On crypto Twitter, it felt pretty frothy. Everybody, so those memes that went around where the people were like celebrating up 2% or 3%. But no, it was a great day for ETH holders. But aside from that, yeah, you're right. Bear market stuff.
Yeah, it's a good day. It's not a great month.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, should we move on to the articles? All right, we'll start with mine. Why Bitcoin has been highly correlated with fiat, and whether that means it has failed as an inflation hedge for traders. So I think clearly it has failed. So the article asks, and again, this article, I should say, it's by Stephen Lubka on CoinDesk. Wasn't Bitcoin supposed to be independent of traditional markets? No. I mean, that's not the case, at least. Wasn't Bitcoin supposed to be an inflation hedge? Yeah, I thought that was going to happen, but no, maybe gold is a little more for that. But Bitcoin's price rally is consistent with the direction of monetary expansion, and its collapse, along with every other asset, was consistent with the reversal of this direction of monetary expansion, a huge contraction, so he says. So basically, Bitcoin is just another form of money that just correlates itself along with the rest of the economic markets. And then maybe back to my original thoughts. What's the whole point of even having it other than for people to speculate and try to make a little money off somebody else?
I mean, it sounds like they're talking about debasement rather than inflation, that as the sentiment around currency debasement, where they're making more dollars, more euros, everything, right. Bitcoin went up, and then as they started quantitative tightening and bringing that in, Bitcoin went down.
Right.
But you're right, much more than the actual numbers or anything. It was the feeling, and it went up and went down. That feeling of we're getting debased, the feeling of cash is back.
Yeah, it just makes Bitcoin, the whole concept, seem pointless. Like, so it goes up, it's more speculative, so it goes up faster, and it comes down harder. And they do make the point in the article that it's up over the last year, where all the other markets aren't. But that's just its speculative nature. It seems like to me, I just like, so what's the whole point in doing this? Why are we doing this podcast? And what's all these other, alt coins and stuff? It just, I don't get it. Where is it? It just seems like a place for people with names like Ricky Kid and Bad Boy Rick and Sam can talk and have status in their lives, right? Because nobody wants to date them.
I mean, I still have that long-term view. It does work as as debasement of currencies continue and sentiment builds. It's that long upward trend with the S's going up and down. So we're in a down, but overall still up with adoption, still up, and with adoption comes price.
Sure.
And Nick and I have a few adoption things that we're looking at, and I think there's, again, like we said, there's this month, there's today, and then there's also the 5-year.
Yeah.
And we're in a downtrend, but in 5 years, I still want to be in Bitcoin.
What do you think, Nick? Is it pointless, or can you justify it?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it depends on like where we put our marker to start collecting the data
Sure.
to compare the correlation, right, or the connection between the two. Because if we zoom out far enough, I think we'll see that as maybe like as kind of like schmucky as it seems for internet money and like you're saying, like kind of why are we doing all of it, you'll see that it probably outperformed everything, right?
Sure.
And I don't know if we're zooming out far enough. We're kind of framing it to a point where it's like this is where we started and we went up. Everything else was whatever going up too, right? Stocks and stuff. Remember David Portnoy? But then when things went down, it went down really hard, right? I think if we were to all zoom out, we'll see that it is a different beast in its own. Like Jeff says, we're probably going through a tightening of the S, but we're still like on a trajectory unlike others, I think. And I don't know. I mean, what other things are you going to put your money into at this stage?
Right? Are they all equally bad, or?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I guess we'll have to talk in 10, 15 years. But, you got to say it's legitimate. Otherwise, it won't become legitimate. It's just all self-fulfilling prophecy stuff, of course.
Hopefully.
Because currency is based on faith. So if there's a faith in Bitcoin, then it goes up.
But you're right. I think it is definitely. We all agree that it's failed as a reserve for anything. It hasn't. It's been really volatile, right? It's and I think that narrative maybe was something that everybody wanted to believe, but then institutions got involved, and I also wonder now we are correlated very tightly with the S&P and other things. So is this because of institutions? And it made me wonder how much actual institutional money is in there.
Right.
If you look at now where macro's taking the whole landscape, right, and where we kind of all fell apart was like at the end of the quarter back in 2022 or sorry 2021.
I think the way the data backs up what Nick is saying is the low of every year keeps going higher. The highs and lows of the intra high and low, that's the sentiment, that's the institutions coming in, getting out, people getting hyped. But as the lows keep ticking up over time, kind of that shows me that if we took the sentimental hype pumps out of it and just tracked those lows, we'd be in a steady track up without the downs, but we wouldn't have the harsh, no extreme up, no extreme down, but we have had a slow, steady march up and to the right.
Okay, so to continue that march, do we have to have mainstream adoption? Are we at that?
I believe so. Yeah.
We're at the edge
people
there.
to keep coming in and using.
You need something. It may not be like every person uses it and has a wallet, but you'll need like beyond other institutions, right? You'll need pension funds and other people to start putting their money in there. Big.
Of course, for that to happen, then governments are going to co-opt the concept of cryptocurrency and add regulation to it, which will then turn off all of the people who started with it at the bottom with this whole unregulated, supposedly egalitarian system. So you're going to lose those people to gain the others potentially. So I don't know. The future of it doesn't seem long-term doesn't seem great.
It may seem really boring, right? Like, who says regulation is going to get done overnight? It could be long and drawn out, and then regulation happens, and then that kind of makes the price less volatile because you're not able to go 20x or have a bunch of shit coins that come out every day on an exchange. I don't know. Maybe you'll see regulation stabilize the space, and that's where we'll really see who's sticking around. But it also does kind of validate it, right? If they do regulate it, then it means not a scam, not a Ponzi for everyone, or not any more of a Ponzi than the other regulated stuff.
And the regulation on stable coins, there was a bit of that in the news. I left it out because it's the talk about making the bills and where they're going. But there are moves to regulate stable coins, and that's because of the use case. And if we start using the stable coins in the use case, then we can have a later argument of on this network they keep making more stable coins as they print dollars. Bitcoin is fixed, and we're used to these networks now.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned to Mike, I mentioned it with David on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. I'm using like XRP. I didn't realize it. Or sorry, I'm using Ripple to send money home. I did not know that. It was actually just something. I saw the XRP logo and the Ripple logo on the bottom of my bank slip, like my internet banking. And I was like, wow, what the shit? I'm in Thailand sending money to America from a Thai bank, and it says, thank you for using Ripple.
Oh, interesting.
It's remittance, right? And maybe there's a few that stick around that help,
Yeah, there's some mainstream adoption. Yeah. Okay, let me give you my bank account number so you can test it on my bank if you want. Send it to me. Yeah, sure.
Easy.
All right, We should probably move on. We have Jeff's Twitter thread from Jason L. Baptiste. Hey, that's kind of a normal name. Anyways, make no mistake about it. Apple is now the largest threat to Web3 with their most recent App Store guidelines that they published today. Apps are BS Part 2. A thread below on the implications this has for Web3 and crypto. Okay, I'm confused here. How the heck does this implicate, have any impact on Web3?
They've updated their terms of service. They're changing what's allowed in the App Store. And I like the guy's thread. I think he's right, but my conclusion was very different. He's talking about there's current restrictions on using NFTs in the, within an app on the Apple Store. If that NFT unlocks other functionality within the app without going through Apple's payment system.
Oh, it's a money thing. It's a money grab. Yeah. Okay.
It's always a money thing.
Yeah, gatekeeping.
I walked away saying, okay, Apple's trying to extract the value out of NFTs. Apple's coming to crypto. That's there's value in it. Right now, it's a very roundabout Web 2 way that they are not allowing sales to happen. And there will be activated marketplace where you might have to wrap your tokens so that only certain NFTs get sold by Apple. It'll be something very dated in Web 2, but Apple's coming to crypto. They used to be very anti-crypto. I feel like all wallets or something were banned a while ago. At the same time when Samsung was adding, dedicated crypto hardware keys, Apple's coming around. There's a lot of Apple fanboys who will follow along and blindly, and Nick will talk about the blind people of Reddit jumping on board. The Apple folks will be on board as soon as Apple has its coin with its NFT marketplace and drops its own Apple PFPs. That's what I came away with is Apple's here, they know what's going on, and they don't want you to do it without them. So they're blocking it. They'll find a way to get their piece. But really, this reminded me of 2018, 2019. And again, I want to ignore all the, 10% ETH yesterday, 3% Bitcoin. We're back, boys. Other than that, building slowly. So when Apple figures this out and continues to change their TOS, they build a marketplace, they figure out how to compete. Now everybody with an iPhone in 2024, 2025 has access to Web3. You might not be a real fee-holding decentralized participant, but Apple will be behind the scenes allowing people to be involved in Web3. That was my takeaway.
Yeah, you'll have access to the payment rails, right? Like that, you'll be on the rails.
So and they only represent half the market. I don't know what percentage you represent, but there's the other platform, of course, the Android platform. So
things work great on Android.
So Apple helps the boomers like me with this nice walled garden. We feel safe, and then you can have a little more of the Wild West on that completely on the Android side. So,
and there are a lot of I should clarify, crypto apps on iPhones. You can have Coinbase on there. You can do trading. There's specific things you cannot do, but like you said, once they build their app and it's on the boomers' phone, why not trade NFTs when it's linked to Apple Pay?
Sure, well, that's it, right? They're blocking it. They're blocking it so that they can build their own. They're not blocking it to like, because why would you lose revenue, or not even revenue? Why would you lose attention and traction and volume on your phone for that users? Instead, now you know that like Apple Coin is coming or something, whatever they'll call it, something silly, but it'll be there. What you're seeing with Reddit is very similar to like the article that we're about to talk about later, because it's like the birth of.
Let's talk about the Reddit one.
Yeah, it ties in really well, right? Because it's like the birth of community tokens, and Apple's like kind of watching and waiting to see how to build an ecosystem, and how you not just dip your toe from Web 2 to Web 3, but like how do you actually embrace it? And maybe everyone's gonna watch Reddit, and who knows? This could be a Zeppelin or a Pioneer, right? Like, or Hindenburg, right? Like, I don't know. It seems like
I was wondering what your Zeppelin reference was tied to.
Hold on, we transitioned pretty quick. Somebody want to take a second and go through what's happening with Reddit this week?
Yeah, I can. Let me introduce the article and then we'll hand it off to Nick here. So it's how Reddit's collectible avatars blew up the NFT space. On July 7th, 2022, Reddit announced the launch of a new project, Collectible Avatars. Even Reddit founder Alexis Ohanian Did I say his name? Oh, Hannah. Yeah. Essentially advised people to stay away from the toxic section of the website at one point. Take it away with the toxic info, Nick.
Yeah, here we go. This could either like go like really well for Reddit or blow up in their face because yeah, they were very anti NFT for a while, as you just kind of read. What's funny is the way that they're rebranding it as collectible avatars. I think that's interesting. Almost pitting themselves as a new market, not an NFT, right? But what they are doing, and what it reminded me of, even before Jeff's Apple talk, was that they're basically becoming an NFT ecosystem and marketplace that allows in-app purchases. Think of it like that, right? And not really in-app purchases, but in-app purchases become your utility. So
help me understand that. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so I'm a Reddit user. I'm not really, but let's say hypothetically,
Sure.
I'm one of the active.
Don't worry, you won't be
Reddit
branded
users.
as a Reddit user after
Well, I
this
don't know how to use it, so I was really doing my research, and I learned that you could like get different types of like access for your profile picture. Like, for example, if you want a GIF to move, right, as a certain level or token or something you need, and now
I think it's karma. You get like upvotes for karma on it.
Yeah,
and that's kind of there. And I will say, a year ago, I thought Reddit integrated ETH or Bitcoin tipping too, but it's still the karma thing, I believe.
Yeah. Well, there is like now they're accepting all this is saying like they're accepting it as not physical. Sorry, they're accepting it for their little ecosystem, their marketplace. I'll find the name here, but yeah, their avatar is SNOO, Snow. It's a little alien mascot.
It's cute, which is the avatar anyways for Reddit.
Right. So it's again branding and trying to now, like, I guess, just take what you already have and enter this space through the same way that you see, right? Like a lot of like generative traits or the same picture, right? Different artists. You see this with like the rare Pepes and stuff like that. And I'm not comparing it by any means, but you got commonalities, right? Like the Pepe thing was very big on 4chan, and this was the Reddit's way of trying to do that. And it's not the same by any means, but you never know. Like, what's the next mascot? What's the next tech company that's willing to jump in? I think it's good for the system, the whole ecosystem, because it shows you that like it doesn't have to just be single pictures from an artist or a coder. It could be brands trying to add value in the digital space to you, and who knows what that looks like. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, so it'd be interesting to see what the future holds for this, because there certainly are a lot of Reddit users out there.
Yeah, and the Reddit perspective has been interesting. There's one thread, I think it was taken down, but he's ranting about how these avatars, these what do you say they're called? They're character
collectible avatars.
Collectible avatars are better than JPEGs, and they can be used. And he's yelling about BAYC, and I mean it's the same thing.
Right.
But what I saw was a lot of people just back when they launched in June or July, you could buy the avatar. Now they recently dropped one to everybody for free, so you can open a Polygon wallet with your Reddit user account, and you have your NFT in there. That's
Millions
what
of wallets.
onboarded a lot of people was free, not just free pictures, but free pictures they can sell. So one day they said NFTs are stupid, and the next day they said this is great. I love my NFT. It should go to the moon.
Yeah, and it
Money
did, right? It went up.
Everybody's perspective.
It went up 799%. And
on a platform that was banning discussion of NFTs a month ago.
Yeah, and what's interesting also, we haven't mentioned this part yet, but what's really fascinating and interesting is that it's really good for Polygon, right? Like they did all this on Polygon, and so you literally have a partnership here. They decided to go on the chain of Polygon, which is not the mainstream chain. It's not Ethereum, but you have a proper brand such as Reddit choosing that, and that's good for Polygon. It kind of really keeps them in the running. I guess again, good for the space. But it is certainly there's tribalism. Like there's the NFT. It sounds so silly, but like the NFT Twitter and the NFT Reddit users have very different ideologies. And again, they're not friends, I guess is what to say. So, and again, until we get mature and get past that, we're not going to grow.
Yeah. Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah,
used to see.
I would say that's that messy early adoption, like we talked about with Bitcoin, where it's going to pump. We got 3 million Redditors, and then we'll get down to the the 30,000 that want to stick around and get interested in the NFT space, but it'll be another blow off on top that added a few more people to the base.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me that people get tribal about things like this. You know, like my Reddit
Sports
NFT
teams.
avatar is more important than yours versus.
Yeah. Well,
versus
that's the
is
point of
it
it, right? Scarcity and traits and rarities, like flexing online, digital flexing. It's kind of all becoming like a bit. It's just like really exposing like the hubris behind it,
It's
the greed.
people.
And,
You wear team jerseys and you root for your team. You
Right.
buy the brands and you dress
So
up
I
in
get
brands
that,
that are into fashion.
but I don't really root for my coin or my currency in the same way. Like I'll just buy whatever currency or whatever
Why
stock
not?
is a
Yeah.
benefit to me. I'm not,
Yeah,
you know, I'm
yeah.
going to be a little more agnostic about it. But
It's Marvel versus DC. It's the Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh arguments. It's Xbox versus PlayStation arguments.
yeah, it's extended
And
to some to the
Belonging,
crypto
people
world.
die on those
community,
hills, and there's not
yeah.
money involved.
Right.
Now you get to argue and flip NFTs.
Yeah, but I'd rather die on the hill where there's no money involved because that's just sort of fun arguing about your team or whatever. When there's money involved, then you should get rid of all the tribalism and just make money.
And I hope that's what happens, right?
Yes,
with,
it's
like, these
very
two.
logical.
Like, but it's funny. Like, if I'm Coinbase right now, I'm probably like, trying not to say it, maybe offline, not on the internet, because Reddit just like smoked you. And for 2 years, everyone kept saying Coinbase is going to
launch was a
onboard so
huge
many
fail,
users. And like, what do they have? Like 9 million on the waiting list or something like that, something crazy. And
Wow.
they didn't get anybody really. Like
That's
nobody
crazy.
signed up. They had very little revenue. They're making like $60,000 a day or less, which was really bad.
Is that how
for
much you transferred? Was it? Are you transferring 60K a day?
Yeah, Jeff was all
through
of the
XRP?
Coinbase revenue one day.
Ah, that's true.
I still haven't been to that website. And as a Coinbase user, why I wasn't spammed with offers to be on it and free listings and incentives? They really should have owned the NFT market with a lot of first-time users coming straight to Coinbase.
Yeah.
And every time I log in, I don't see where it popped up and says, "Hey, check out our NFTs right here." So if I missed it, like I really completely didn't see anything about it except for a few Twitter comments. That's how poor the marketing was.
Exactly. They really botched it. And Reddit, on the other hand, is kind of the dark horse now. Who knows now? They have an ecosystem that is now going to not just rival OpenSea, but try to redefine what an NFT is. And again, I always like that. If people are trying to push boundaries of the space and be like, no, fuck it. It's not just a picture that you buy on this website with this wallet. It's something else now. Because like really, if it has the underlying principles that are, again, we talked about this before, the token, like the art and is the token itself. It's the smart contract, not the picture, not the cover. You know what I mean? But the thing beneath. And if that evolves and continues to evolve, we see some really cool things happen with it. I don't know if you guys heard, there's an NFT artist, digital artist who maybe I can link it below, but he's got work at the MoMA already. He released a rare Pepe for free for like 30 days and minted like 10,000. And what's cool about it is he's done really good work, like not NFT related. And he just said that although you have this art that I made for you for free, every now and then when you check your wallet, it will be a different piece of my work from the past. Don't worry, it will always go back to the Pepe that I sold to you, but I just want to introduce you to other parts of my work. So it's like, oh shit, like you're now like almost making a newsletter or a digital, I don't know, photo frame or Rolodex. For me, and that's a whole new thing too. So I don't know. I think it's
going to keep evolving, and there's a lot of space. In the same way, like I collect vinyl, I don't collect Pokemon cards or baseball cards, but there's a lot of people who do, and then there's sneakerheads. The NFT community from Reddit is going to go in one direction. The Pepe community, a little older, maybe that punks go there, values other things. People who came up in the 2020-2021 Bored Ape hype of the last 18 months have their own ideas. A lot of them were new to crypto and different from the people who, they weren't into mooncats. So the next fad, the next thing, and I think for everybody talking about ETH versus Solana of where to invest in NFTs, maybe take a look at the new people in Reddit and see where are they going to push the market.
Yeah. Or are they just the new TikTokers of Doge and crypto, right? Like that's what I mean.
TikTokers push some bags around.
They do, but they don't stick around. Like, well, we don't know about their resilience yet. We haven't seen this, so
Mhm.
let's see.
True.
Right?
All right. On that note, we're running towards the end of our time. We should do a prediction for next week, and I've got a ton of angry email. I'll have to answer from all the sneakerheads. The way Jeff framed them in a sort of negative tone, but. Anyways, so yeah, predictions for next week. Let's see, it's gone up a little bit. Market is down about a quarter point. I think I just looked so far, but we haven't seen a collapse yet in Bitcoin. It seems to be always a little bit of a lag. So I say it's pretty much similar, somewhere around 20. What a safe bet. Anybody else got a prediction?
I'd say not financial advice, and like you said, just for fun. Yeah, this was a nice little bounce up. We're back to 18 by Monday.
What,
Do
18?
you think so?
And
I don't know.
19 and change, 18, ETH around 12, 13. I think the party's over by Monday and down through November. But again, if you stuck around this long in the video, please like and subscribe. And if you think this is financial advice, go elsewhere, seek financial help.
Yeah.
So Nick, Reddit maybe will have influence. What do you think the market's going to be like?
For Bitcoin and for the crypto market itself, I think you looked at Bitcoin just liquidated 1.8 or 1.2 billion overnight from all the shorts that got liquidated, and so now you want to figure out where the market's going to go. It's probably going to go where the most max pain can happen, and that would be down. So I think you got a lot of people that went degen long now, seeing that we're going to go up to 25K, thinking that that's happening, but we're not. I don't think so. I think we're going. I think like Jeff said, 18, but maybe like around like 20 for a bit till it just gets boring and we grind back down.
Right.
But I don't think it's the bull market.
Okay. Well, everybody, hey, it's been great hanging out, and we'll see if the space gets more mature, and if we do.
Cheers. See you guys.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.